Alright, are we good? Are we live? I think we are. Hello all and welcome back to the Women's Football Chat Live. We're here for more live WSL action, another game week of WSL football, and we kick off as Leicester City take on Manchester United. For just the second time this season, we're live to watch a Leicester City match, and it's going to be interesting to see how they get on. A tough test awaits them today as they welcome the Red Devils. United have been in scintillating form to kick off the new year, unbeaten in all competitions. They've got through to the League Cup final, and they are playing incredibly well as well, with new signings integrating quickly, Harry. So should be an interesting one today, but United, you'd have to say, the strong favourites.
Yeah, of course, United, who's having brilliant 8-match unbeaten streak after what was a bit of a stodgy end to the year, but they've looked really good in recent weeks, and they turn up at a Leicester side that, you know, every game for Leicester now is a cup final, really. Every time they get an opportunity to get points on the board, they need to take it. Now they are really involved in that relegation scrap. They've got to dig deep and start grinding out some victories and start getting some points on the board quickly. But yeah, Leicester, it's not been a great run. One win in their last 5, and that came against London City. They have struggled. They need to, as I say, they need to start getting wins together because the sides below them are starting to improve every single week. Your Liverpools, your West Hams, Everton have just sacked their manager as well, so they will look to have a new manager bounce going into the end of the season. But a lot of work for Leicester to do. They're under a lot of pressure, and it doesn't get easier today. I think it's going to be a very, very difficult one against the United side that are playing some really nice football at the moment.
Yeah, I think for Leicester, it's really difficult to gauge like where they or what they need to do at the end of this season because we've not seen the WSL at the bottom half this competitive for years, or at the top half. In fact, I think the WSL in totality has been super competitive this season, albeit Man City are now sort of running away with the title. That Champions League fight and the relegation fight are both really hotly contested. But it does mean we don't really know where the points total sits at. Traditionally, it's around that 17-point mark that we'd say is safety, but it feels that all of Liverpool, West Ham, Leicester and Everton could either be above or below that, depending on how they take points off each other. So it's hard to say where the safety point is. I think Leicester obviously did well to get those points in the first half of the season. But as we spoke about on Wednesday when we did our video ranking every team's business in the January transfer window, it doesn't feel like they've done enough in January to kick on. And while Liverpool and West Ham have been super ambitious and Everton are in turmoil, Leicester very much sat at a similar level. They've brought in some useful rotation players that come in and make them a little bit better as well. But they haven't brought anyone that comes in and makes them significantly stronger. And I think that could be their issue, because they were scraping points in the first half of the season. And while I think today could be interesting, because actually Leicester's record against the top teams isn't too bad, they do tend to hold their own for at least the start of the game. I think when we're looking forward to the rest of this season, you'd expect some of those teams around them in the table to have an ability to take points better than Leicester do. But we'll see what happens there. Let's get into the lineups then for today's game. We'll start with the host Leicester City, as we are at the King Power Stadium. And for Leicester, it looks like a 5-2-3. In goal, Olivia Clark keeps her place in the side, with Janina Leitzig still out with an injury. In the back three, it's Keys, Swaby and Ale. And then at either full-back, Neville and Mailing as the wing-backs. A midfield pivot of Captain Sam Tierney alongside Emily Van Egmond. On one flank, it's Hannah Kane. On the other, Alicia Lehmann. And leading the line, former Manchester United player Rachel Williams. What do you think then of that Leicester team, Harry? Who are the players that can have an impact today for the Foxes?
Yeah, it's an interesting side. I think the 4 new signings, of course, are going to be the main ones everyone's focusing on. We've already seen quite a bit of Neville and Mailing at wing backs, and yes, Lehmann did get a few minutes in the last game, in the last couple of games. But I think Lehmann and Williams are the real focuses today for me. Can we see those 2 players get back to their best? Rachel Williams, it feels like the storyline's perfect. Starting in for Leicester today against the side she's just left in Manchester United, feels like a fitting chance for her to get back amongst the goals and to pick up what could be a massive goal for Leicester. But I think that front line's interesting for me. Can Alicia Lehmann show why Leicester have signed her, and can she get back to the kind of form that we saw when she was originally in the WSL? It's going to be interesting to see. Of course, they're not going to have much joy. I'm not expecting that Leicester front line to get the ball much. They've got to be accurate when they do get it in those turnovers. Can that front three offer enough pace, offer enough threat in transition to hurt Manchester United. I like the combo of Williams as more of a hold-up striker and then Kane and Lehmann as, quick wingers in behind. I think that could work quite nicely if Williams can trap that ball and then look to, play it round the corner to Lehmann who's running through. That could work today, but they've got to be efficient when that front three get the ball because, as I say, for the majority of the match, you'd expect them to be up against it.
Yeah, you're almost using, and especially in the case of Hannah Kane, 2 strikers in wide areas. And I think those runs are going to be very central, very penetrative. You'd expect them to use Rachel Williams in more of that hold-up striker role, bit of a deep lying forward. A bit of a poacher as well. When they do get the ball into the final third, you want her in and around that penalty area, give them something to think about. But if they can draw Letitia and Janssen out with the hold-up play of Williams, looking to lay it off to Tierney and Van Egmond, they can then try and find those passes in behind, try and access Kane and Lehmann through central areas, and then potentially threaten there. But yeah, I think it's going to be very difficult to say. We know United are a very strong team, and you do just think, Leicester lack that star player. When they had Jutta Rantala, who's obviously been out injured for so long now, came back at the start of the season, re-injured, just hasn't been able to stay fit. When they had Rantala, you've always got someone who can just make something happen out of absolutely nowhere, but without her, it does just feel like they're lacking that. And especially, they lost so much in the summer as well with Ruby Mace departing. She was so important for their midfield in terms of being able to win the ball back, in terms of being able to progress the ball. So they have really struggled this season, Leicester. But if they can be counter-attacking today, if they can play that sort of very defensive system, look to hit quickly, that probably gives them the best chance of getting something against Manchester United. As for the Red Devils, then, let's take a look at Mark Skinner's side. It's a 4-2-3-1 for United today. In goal, Fallon, Tullis, Joyce. A back four, then, of Lundqvist, Captain Letitia, Janssen and Sandberg. A midfield pivot of Ziggy Otioma alongside Miyazawa. Park on the right wing, Mallard on the left wing, Narsoon in that 10 role, and Leah Schuler leading the line. So United's starting to integrate different players in their team. We've seen in the first few weeks of Schuler and Vangerheim coming in that they've seemed to use those two as a pair and then use Turner and Mallard as a pair. But a bit of rotation today. I think my first question would be, what does that indicate towards what they're trying to do in today's game? But also, how does that impact perhaps how we look at Atletico in the midweek?
Yeah, I think it's interesting to opt for Schuler today. I think it makes sense for me. You're going to want Turland in the midweek against an Atletico Madrid side that are going to sit deep and be physical. I think you want Turland's presence more than you want Schuler's pace. Whereas today, yes, Leicester are going to sit deep, but I think there still will be opportunities to catch them out and get Leah Schuler on the ball. But yeah, it's good to see them kind of mixing and matching that front four now and putting different players with, in with, players we haven't really seen them feature with so far. So it'll be interesting to see how they all work together. But yeah, it's a ridiculously good side. If they play anything like they did last week, then again it's going to be another really good day for them. I'm intrigued to see whether Niall soon can keep up her goal scoring form from the double she got against Liverpool. But yeah, it's a really good side for Manchester United, and I think an opportunity today for Schuler to get on the score sheet.
Yeah, I quite enjoyed Narsoon in that sort of more advanced role, playing in that what we'd say is a left 10 position, with obviously the way Park inverts and the way they look to overlap the right wing back, or the right back, sorry. What will be interesting today is to see how aggressive Lundqvist is. We know how good Riviera is coming forward. And actually in her first few weeks United, Lundqvist has looked brilliant in front of goal. Scored on debut, of course. Or scored on her first start, sorry. So if they can get her very aggressive in this game, Mallard on the left wing, Locus asking the live chat, do you think Mallard works on the left wing as opposed to as a striker? I think she's better as a striker, but if they're going to look to be quite transitional today, United, which you would assume they will be with Schuler and Mallard, then you can target those two players in behind, and it gives you more in behind. So I don't mind it, and I think Mallard you've got to fit Mallard in here somewhere. You've got so many good strikers now. I think she can do the job on left wing, and I think it definitely points towards Rolfo playing that left wing position against Atletico and Turland playing the strike position. I think that makes a lot of sense. Rolfo, fantastic crosser, but also really good at meeting crosses at the back post, so it gives you that sort of dual threat. Turland, as you say, Atleti are going to be physical in the back line. They're going to be quite deep. They're going to be very disciplined. So if they can, use Turland to try and stretch that back line, try and create space, but also be an aerial threat, be a box presence, that's going to be really important. So you can see why they're perhaps resting those players to go again, and then rest in other areas as well, with Riviere obviously getting a rest as well. So yeah, it's going to be interesting what they look like today. I'm a big fan of this United team, though. I still worry about that midfield pivot because, as we know, Miyazawa will be at the Asian Cup in March. Perhaps that's the thinking of giving Nalsund a bit more game time, is that she'll understand the system a little bit more to be able to play in that deeper role. But I think this is the kind of game where maybe you could have played Nalsund deeper, but potentially the lack of options at the moment for United, with two now injured, is leaving them a little light in midfield. And to be fair, Nalsund was excellent in that position on last weekend. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how the two sides get on. But players about to come out of the tunnel. Anything else to add, Harry, before we get to predictions?
I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's a more difficult one to call than it may look. Leicester, as you say, have got a very good record of making it difficult for the biggest sides in the league. But United, very, very good on their travels. Best away record in the league all season. I think it's going to be a very interesting game.
Yeah, I think this is also the kind of game where United can put on a really good performance. We've seen them in recent weeks. The first half of the season, they were very nervy. I think even in games where they were the dominant team, they'd sometimes end up with a 3-0 score, and I didn't really feel like a 3-0 game. Even last week against Liverpool, to be fair, it didn't feel like a 3-1 game. I did think they were the better team, but Liverpool gave them a great game. But they had that game against Villa a few weeks ago, and this does feel like the kind of game where if they can get to 4, maybe 5 goals, that makes them look really strong. So I think they'll be keen for that kind of performance again today. Players come out of the tunnel, though, so let's get into predictions. Welcome to the stream as well, A27, Locus, and Karina. But if you're watching along in the live chat and want to get involved, let us know your scoreline prediction. We're going to start here in the studio, though, and we'll start with yourself, Harry. What is your prediction for today's game?
I think United's quality will just be too much for Leicester. I think it'll be a solid display. They'll put up a decent fight for the majority of the match, but overall, I will say United to come through with the victory and take advantage of the fact that the rest of the top 4 have all got to play each other tomorrow. I'll say 3-0 United. I think Leicester will hang on in there for about 30-40 minutes, but I'll say the first half goal to come from Lea Schüler, and then 2 goals in the second half from Nalsund, and I will say Lundqvist again. 3-0 United, very decent victory, and another disappointing day for Leicester.
Yeah, fair enough. I think that's fairly modest. I'm going to say Leicester 0, United 5. I think it might sound harsh, but this Leicester team, I don't know if they've got the quality to compete with the likes of United. I think United will be keen to put on a good show, and I think this will be the kind of game which Lea Schüler can really get involved in. Yeah. So I'm going to say a Schüler hat-trick. I'm going to say a goal from Jess Park. And I'm going to say Anna Sandberg. I was going to go Lundqvist, but after she scored a few weeks ago, it feels unoriginal. So I'm going to say Sandberg to pick up a goal. And yeah, I think United will be very comfortable. Something like 2-0 at half-time, and they really kick on, get another 3 in the second half, and dominate this game. I think they are the much stronger side, and they should be looking to show that in this contest. Locus going for 2-0 United in the live chat. Karina saying 3-1 United, and A27 going 4-0 United. So most people quite confident United will win this game, and the poll in chat reflecting a similar story. 89% backing Manchester United, 10% going for Leicester, and 2% predicting a draw. So we'll see what happens with this game. Manchester United taking on Leicester City, and yeah, it's a good way to kick off the WSL weekend. The WSL weekend, which it seems has a lot of big games in it, as we'll get to tomorrow. But United, with all of the other top 4 teams or top 5 teams playing each other, this is United's opportunity, Harry, to get 3 points on the board and create a bit of a gap.
Yeah, exactly that. We could come out this weekend and they could be sat in second and have a 2-3 points back to the sides below them. So this is massive for the Champions League fight. It's a big weekend for United. Of course, they've got the easier game, but they've got to turn up and get the job done first, and then put the pressure onto all the sides tomorrow. But only 2 of Arsenal, Tottenham, Chelsea and City can win tomorrow. So no matter what happens, United are going to gain on somebody as long as they get the job done today. So yeah, a big opportunity for them this weekend to kind of take control almost of that fight for the top four.
Well, exactly. A win today, it means they definitely gain on one of Chelsea and Tottenham, and it means they either cut City's lead at the top or extend a decent margin to Arsenal. So when we're looking at Champions League qualification, this could be a really important game in the context of Manchester United's season, and of course Champions League being a big theme for them. I think for United as well, it's really important that they've got some quite comfortable fixtures around this time of year with Champions League coming up this week. I think that they can really get a run going. And obviously then when we look towards March and the League Cup final, and obviously then going deeper in the Champions League, if they get past Atleti, that's going to be when the difficult period really comes for them. How they handle rotation, how they handle all those difficult fixtures in a short time span. But they've got a nice run of games now. They need to put together a nice run of form to cement themselves in a strong position. But United get us underway in this game at King Power Stadium, and high press from Leicester City, but it drops now for Anna Sandberg. United continue coming forwards. Here's Melvin Mallard now. Fast starts this game for United, cuts inside, puts it into the box, and that's headed away well by Sari Keys. Kept alive here on the edge by United. That was a fast start. They're dealing with the referee there, and I think they have still got some issues for the officials, or it was a head injury. By the way, play has been stopped there, and we can get back to it from this drop ball. But a frantic start there as United tried to hit Leicester quickly.
Yeah, exactly that. I think they caught everybody out in that instance. But it shows exactly what you need to do against these kind of sides. If they can get the ball down and get an early goal, the longer this game goes on, the longer you give Leicester something to defend, they're going to work harder and harder to grind it out. So, yeah, if United can kill this game off early, it should, end up being a very, comfortable 90 minutes for them.
Yeah, Letitia on the ball, looking to clip it in behind, and they're trying to get Schuler in early here. Chantal Swaby will just hold it up well, sees it out of play, and that will be a Leicester City goal kick.
Yes, exactly what they've got to do against Schuler. They've got to make it difficult for her. Don't allow her to latch onto the ball in behind. Be strong. And if United keep overhitting it all day, then it should be pretty positive. It should work out quite nicely for Leicester.
Yeah, in that situation, what they're doing quite nicely there is they're almost dummy jumping up and making it look like they're spacing behind. But as soon as that ball comes back, getting in behind quite quickly and being able to shield it out of play. It's now with Olivia Clark, who look to pump it long. Williams can't get there, but it does drop now for Mailing. Flicks it on now to Hannah Kane. And she'll look to take on Dominique Janssen. Kane tries to get around Janssen. I think that took the final touch off Kane. She's frustrated, but I don't think there's any merit to that frustration. Quite interesting, Leicester. It looks in possession at least like almost a 4-4-2 or 4-2-3-1 today, with Kane and Williams then playing as two strikers, Mailing pushing up as a right back, or as a right winger, Keys coming into that right back role. Interesting to see what it looks like off the ball, whether that is the same, whether they drop into what we would expect more. Here's Mailing. Looking to play it in behind. Lehman makes the run off the shoulder. Does time it well. Wants to take on Miyazawa now. Lehman twisting and turning. Nowhere to go. She runs that off the field of play.
Yeah, well defended by Miyazawa. Just not giving Lehman room to work with. And that's exactly what you've got to do. Don't allow her to get the ball down and start running at players.
Yeah, indeed. Miyazawa there doing well, dealing with her. Ziggiotti touch it down to Sandberg, who gives the ball back to Mailing. Leicester City having a lot of possession in these early stages. Ale now goes back to her goalkeeper. And Clark looking to hit it long. Schuler put her under pressure, and that will be headed away by Lundqvist. Drops now for Niall soon. Flicked on. Lundqvist will try and get there ahead of Neville, and she will get there, but it's knocked down the line. And Swaby has no issues collecting that one. Plays it into a bit of a dangerous area. Van Egmond tries to flick it on. Miyazawa now. Ziggiotti's dispossessed. Back to Miyazawa though. Now Mallard. Wider still to Sandberg. What can she make happen in this position? Sandberg to Miyazawa through the lines to Melvin Mallard. Did it take a touch? It did. That will see it go on quicker, and that's out for a corner.
Yeah, exactly what United are looking to do. And a crucial intervention there. I think it took a Nichols at Mailing to stop that ball getting through to Mallard, because she just managed to drift into a bit of space, the United winger. But well defended by Leicester, and that's what they've got to do. They cannot allow players like Mallard to just drift into wide spaces by themselves. They've got to try, they've got to make it difficult for United. don't get opened up too easily.
Put towards the back post, head away well by Williams. And Park looks to keep it alive. Chops in against Lehman. What can she make happen now? Park cuts it back to Sandberg. Touched on to Nalsoon. Now Ziggiotti. He looks to clip it in there, head away well. Now Miyazawa. She'll go all the way back to her goalkeeper, Tullis Joyce. Back to Miyazawa. Letitia. Into Park. Back to Letitia. Janssen now out to the left-hand side. Anna Sandberg carrying it forwards. Mallard back towards Sandberg. Back into Melvin Mallard. Miyazawa. Ziggiotti looks to spread the play. Does find Lundqvist on the right-hand side. And Lehman deals well, but it's out for another corner. And United starting to put this Leicester backline under pressure.
Yeah, I think this is what we can kind of expect to see for the next 85 minutes. Leicester sat deep in their own third. United kind of boxing them in. But if the Foxes can do as well as they are at the moment, just limit them from getting balls into the box, and they're doing well. I don't think conceding a corner every time is going to be the way to do it for the rest of the game. You'd like to think that United will eventually get an effort on goal from one of these set pieces.
Well, yeah, I think it's one of those. As soon as they break the deadlock, what we see with Leicester is the game tends to open up a little bit more. Sandberg looping it in there, headed up in the air. It was dropped for Jess Park. Doesn't fall nicely though. Tries to bring it under her control. And ends up being able to poke it back to Ziggiotti. Miyazawa puts it back in there. Brought down tidily by Lundqvist. Sandberg into Mallard. Uses the space well here. Across goal. And Clark gets down to it. Does spill it. Schuler almost pounces, but she gets away with that. And United there, you could just see Leicester looked a little disorganised after the corner. And they couldn't quite make good on that, United. A lot of space to use. Mallard fashions the shot. A fairly tame effort, though.
Yeah, Suave done well there to just narrow the angle, make it a lot more difficult for Mallard. And that's a good ball in behind to Kane. And this is exactly what Leicester can do.
Letitia stands her up, but Kane flashes the ball across the box and Sandberg clears it. But that's a Leicester corner, and that's much more positive from Leicester City, looking to come the other way.
Yeah, exactly what they need to do. From Clark's hands there, 3 passes, and they managed to get in behind. Kane times the run well, so lovely ball over the top, and she's done well to win a corner from this Kane, who was left quite isolated because no one had really got up there with her.
Yeah, it's difficult for Leicester. They don't want to commit too much, do they? But no support at all for Hannah Kane. And Lehman jogging on the edge of the box. I think you can see she's wanting to make that run. She wants to be on the edge of the box in case it spills out. But you need to almost make that burst and go and support her out there. Give her another option to pass to. Corner now for Leicester. Referee not happy with the placement of the ball. Sam Tierney will have to readjust it. Referee still not happy. Referee is now happy. And Sam Tierney moves it back to where she initially had it. So that was a worthwhile wasted moment. Tierney over this. Then Lehman comes to the short option. It's flung into the box. Headed on and it doesn't go goalwards. Neville will look to keep it alive on the right-hand side. Van Egmond touches it back. Mailing puts it in the area. Headed towards goal. Wide of the mark. And the offside flag does come up there against Hannah Kane.
Yeah, I think she had just got a bit too early. But again, well worked by Leicester, and they've got to use set pieces like that. The initial corner was a little bit overhit, but they recycled it well, kept it alive.
Just didn't drop. United pushed their line up effectively. Kane just didn't drop in. A chance now for Rachel Williams. Shot down the throat. We didn't see what led to that, but it looked like poor build-up from United.
Yeah, I think United had given the ball away. Leicester had broke free. There was an advantage played for Leicester as well. So, I think, I'd like to see that one back. Williams, though, should have really done better with the strike. Drilled quite nicely straight into the arms of Tullis Joyce, but a good opportunity again for Leicester in this game.
Yeah, Phil says the most football thing ever would be a 1-0 Leicester win with a Williams goal. Well, hopefully Leicester will be hoping it will be that way and not like when Neville faced her former side. And it was a 1-0 win to the opposition with Neville helping her former team out. Mallard trying to chop in there. Good defending from Van Egmond. They'll look to play out to the right-hand side now. Kane wants to burst past Schuler, who's dropped in here and won the ball back well. Plays it into Nalsoon. Bounced into Mallard. To Park. Touched on now to Zighiotti. To Lundqvist. Lovely football from United. Put towards the back post now and headed away well to the edge of the box. McLaughlin steers it clear. And Sandberg keeps the move alive. Needs support. Miyazawa pulls wide. Horizontal ball into Zighiotti, who will look to penetrate now. Schuler, hold up isn't strong enough. Swaby does well. And now Lundqvist trying to get a foot on the ball, but that touch is loose. And that will be a Leicester throw.
Yeah, that was a move for United that really deserves a goal at the end of it. Lovely football. The work rate from Schuler to turn the ball over on the left, to get back in and turn the ball over on the left-hand side, and then to the way they moved it between themselves over to the right-hand side, it was worthy of a goal at the end of it. But Leicester dealt with the cross well. That's exactly what United can do. They do get the ball down and play at that pace, play their football. They look unplayable at times.
Yeah, indeed. Pass forward into Rachel Williams. And that's cleared away well by Letitia. And so Esmita will take her time before Leicester look to progress up the line. Already happy to just slow this game down a little bit, Leicester. The more they can disrupt United's rhythm, the better chance they have of trying to hold on to a result. Here is Sari Keys. Mailing pulls into this wide position. Now looks to play it in behind. Kane will give chase. Janssen does well to shield it back, though, to her goalkeeper, Tyus Joyce. Happy to play out. Now Sandberg. Miyazawa. Back to Tyus Joyce. And it's across to Letitia. Tyus Joyce. Janssen. Across again to Letitia. United looking to build up now. And Letitia will carry this forwards and they progress a few yards. Lundqvist inside to Park. Lovely turn. Goes back towards Lundqvist, who continues the run. Knocks it in behind. And Schuler will get there. Tries to cut it back to Nalsoon. It's one back here. A bit of a mess from Leicester defensively. Swaby now under pressure. Knocks it clear. Schuler there, I think she's got to back herself.
Yeah.
Got to just take that ball in her stride and drive with it towards goal.
Yeah, she would win that foot race. Got to be a bit selfish there. Tries to let it back to Nalsoon and continue the lovely passing move.
Here's Lundqvist. Tries to knock it back to Park. Not quite the right pass. And that is out for a Leicester throw-in.
That was a bit too luxury and fancy from Lundqvist. But on the whole, again, United getting the ball down, playing. It was a lovely give and go on that right-hand side between Lundqvist and Park, and then the ball through to Schuler. I think she had to take that herself there. She's got the pace advantage against that Leicester back line. She should have backed herself to get through there and have a go at goal.
Dominic Janssen on the ball. Back to Miyazawa, who can feed it out to the left-hand side. Sandberg wanting a central option. No one's pulled wide for her. Now Janssen. Exchanges with Letitia. Sandberg has now pulled into this wide position. Down the line to Mallard. Mallard now probing on the edge of the box. Zighiotti pulls wide in support. Puts it in the area. Lovely ball, and that will bounce on through. And Schuler may try and claim it, but I think that's a goal for Yulia Zighiotti-Olma. Lovely ball. Floated into the box. Schuler, well, it looked like she might have got a flick on. It's hard to determine. But either way, it's in the back of the net. Clark lets it bounce across her goal and bounce into the far corner. And Manchester United take the lead here. A lovely ball in from Zighiotti, which she'll claim was a cross, but it drops into the goal rather nicely.
Yeah, really good from Zighiotti. It's a lovely ball into the box. I don't think Schuler did get a touch. Yeah, I don't think she does. I think it goes straight through. Really poor goalkeeping from Clark. Cannot allow... there wasn't a touch in there. I think that's gone straight through from Zighiotti. This is the best angle. It was a great run from Schuler, and it sent Clark.
I don't think she gets a touch.
Yeah, no.
I think that push from Swaby just stops her getting there. I mean, she's still wheeled away in celebration, just in case. Mallard now carries it forwards, and United have got their groove. Nalsoon, what can she do up against Swaby? Ball into the box, cleared away by Keys. Will drop for Miyazawa. Just nudges it down. Park and Zighiotti try to combine, but Aya will see that out of play. Here's what I mean. Suddenly, that Leicester defence opens up. Now United have got the first.
Yeah, exactly that. United get hungry. Leicester, it's a big blow. They started pretty well, but you felt that was going to come sooner rather than later. And it's another Leicester goal. We sit here and go, if Janina Leipzig was available today, that doesn't go in. Really soft goalkeeping from Clark. As a goalkeeper, you should never allow a player to score from a cross, because that means you've failed to deal with it.
It's one of those where even if she's expecting Schuler to head across goal there, she's way too central. And actually that centrality should mean that she's able to get across easier to the left-hand side, but she just doesn't read the flight of the ball, doesn't jump across quick enough, doesn't react in time. Mallard tries to play in behind. Looked like it was saved by Swaby. Not sure if it's a throw-in or a free kick there. I think it's only a throw. Sandberg into Janssen. Across to Maya Letitia, who plays it out to Lundqvist on the touchline effectively. Ziggiotti lifting it in behind, looking for Park. Ale will get there, and she'll go back towards her goalkeeper, who'll be under pressure here, but she does come out and deal with it, and it's on the chest of Ziggiotti, who reacts quickest. Now Miyazawa, who plays it wide to Sandberg, who gets into the box now, takes aim, and that takes a nick off the defender. I thought, but apparently not in the eyes of the referee, and Sandberg doesn't seem to complain about it either.
Yeah, another really good move from Manchester United. Lovely ball from Miyazawa. Sandberg's first touch is sublime. Really, does really well to knock it out in front of her. Gives her time to run onto it. And yeah, she'll be disappointed with the strike. Drills it well, just gets too much on it, and that was always going to rise.
I think it's one of those you've got to drill a cross goal, especially if you've just watched Clark try and defend. Try and goal keep the far post. Even if she does get across there, she's going to push it back into danger. So, got to strike a cross goal today, United. Miyazawa. Mallard tries to touch it onto Sandberg. Now back to Miyazawa, who plays it into Nalsoon, whose touch is really loose in there, and Neville picks up on the loose ball. Looks to play it out to the left-hand side, but that's a massively overhit pass. And United back in possession.
Yeah, Leicester are really up against it now. Yeah, they've conceded already. And they're under a lot of pressure, and they just can't seem to get out. Those opportunities that were coming for them in the first 5 minutes have evaporated, really.
Sandberg carrying the ball forwards now for United. Still going here, Anna Sandberg. Mallard. Look to come inside. Still looks to come inside. Lets the shot off, and Clark does get across that one well. Great work from Mallard to open up the body for the shot. Not a bad effort. Clark saves it well, wide of the post.
Yeah, great drive from Sandberg. Really poor from Leicester to allow her just to run through the team unchallenged. Lays it off to Mallard, who fashions a shot very nicely. And that's much better goalkeeping from Clark. Really good save. Does well to get down to it and put it out for a corner.
So, Manchester United looking to threaten once again here from a set piece. I think they're third of the game already. Fairly indicative of the dominance they've had. So who can they pick out now? Sandberg puts it in towards the back post, and that will be, well, a mess of bodies. Pushes that away. Park now on the rebound. Lifts it in there. Ziggiotti mistimes the header, and it's cleared away by Rachel Williams. Kane now under pressure from Ziggiotti. And Ziggiotti nudges her over and wins back the ball. Miyazawa. Ziggiotti into Sandberg. Fashions a pass out to the left-hand side. Janssen into Park, who's just dropped into this wide position. Now to Melvine Mallard, who's one-on-one with Keys. Goes around her well. Mallard across the box. Blocked well again by Keys. Another corner. Hannah says, can I just say I really appreciate and enjoy you guys commentating. Thank you. Thank you very much, Hannah, for the lovely comment. Brooke says, Sandberg is well advanced today. I'd switch Lehman onto that side. We've seen Lehman on both sides so far. The problem is as well, you've got Mailing, who can't really play on the left. In that sort of front four when they try and get forwards. We are seeing Lehman float at times. But yeah, I do agree. You want to attack that space in behind.
They've got to change something, though, because at the moment, Anna Sandberg is kind of just walking around by herself.
Yeah. That's steered clear. Sandberg. Lets it out to Ziggiotti. Sandberg trying to create the space. Ziggiotti under pressure, and it's poked out of play well by Mailing. The problem is as well is you're isolating Keys against Mallard, and it's just not, Keys is a centre back. You want someone who's used to dealing with wingers, because that's the sort of movement you expect from Alvin Mallard, especially in those wide areas. Sandberg into Zighiotti, who's found a pocket of space now down the line, and that's a cross into the area claimed well by Olivia Clark.
Yeah, again, nice stuff from United. Zighiotti probably could have looked to cut this back rather than fire it across the face of goal, but overall, another really nice move from Leicester, from Manchester United, sorry.
Some sort of issue here for Asmita Ale. And I think the referee waving on the medical team, but Ale seems to be okay. The medical team do now enter the field. I think it's a nosebleed for Asmita Ale there. And this will give an opportunity for Rick Passmore just to restate his message, have a chat with a few of the players. And they need to have a bit of a turnaround in this game, Leicester. They're struggling to get the ball out. United have been absolutely dominant so far.
Yeah, it's one of those, Leicester really can't seem to get out of the United grip. Find it very interesting there that Rick Passmore was giving instructions to Rachel Williams. I know that Williams can play a part defensively in terms of holding the ball up and giving them an outlet, but I'm not really sure that's where my focus would be when you've been under the pump for 20 minutes. I think you've got to shift things defensively, because Mallard, as you say, is getting in that one-on-one with Keys and winning it every time. Anna Sandberg, 2 or 3 times, has just been able to walk or just run through the team under no challenge, and then appear in the final third as a great option.
And now Leicester are down to 10 while Ale receives treatment. Janssen. Little bits of game management there, because Ale is almost too honest. If she sits down and needs treatment there, she's still, they would have taken off eventually, but it wouldn't have been quite as quick.
Yeah.
Sandberg. Mallard touches inside. Now soon around the corner. Mallard's going to get there and looks to take on Mailing. That's lovely from LV. Mallard beats the fullback well, who plays to Nalsoon, and her shot's blocked. Swaby heads it clear. Miyazawa pounces on the bouncing ball. Now to Sandberg, who crosses it towards the back post. Schuler will try and get there. Nudged out of play by Neville, and that will be another United corner.
Yeah, these corners are really racking up. This has got to be the 5th or the 6th of the game for United at this point. The stoppage allows Ale to get back in, which is important for Leicester, but they are really under it at the moment, and you just feel that if it carries on like this for the next 70 minutes, it's going to be a very long afternoon for Leicester. United, they're just looking full flow and playing really, really well.
Yeah, this is the 5th corner of the game, floated towards the back post this time, headed out again, and it will be a 6th corner for United. And so far in this match, 78% possession.
Wow. In
the opening 22 minutes. Leicester not really getting on the ball, and the action areas in the first half, 50% has been in Leicester's half, 31% in the middle of the pitch, only 19% in that United third, and that's mainly been United building up.
Yeah.
So, corner again. United haven't had much joy yet from corners in this game, despite the number they've managed to rack up. Ball floated in again, and it's headed clear. Miyazawa nods it down to Park. Back to Miyazawa. Now Sandberg. Knocks it wide. Here's Yulia Zighiotti, who looks to just float it towards the back post. Ale heads it away. And nodded on by Van Egmond. Lehmann. Neville launches it up the pitch. Miyazawa nods it away, and now Tierney. Out wide into Mailing. He's going to knock it down the line. Sandberg has the measure of Hannah Kane, though. And United back on the ball. Janssen. Leicester just don't really have the options or the quality in the final third to hurt United. Understandably, they're very defensive, but there's been lots of holes in their defensive structure anyway. I think if you're going to play this way, you've got to be tighter defensively. Neville touches onto Sandberg. Keys will get there and knocks it out of play.
Again, Keys has done well to get across that time, but Sandberg has just been allowed. There doesn't feel like there's anyone that is responsible for dealing with the overlap of Sandberg, which I think when you're playing against Man United would be one of the first tactical things that I would deal with.
It's a very odd game to move away from the 5-back.
Yeah.
I mean, at times this game it's looked a 4. They're trying to get Mailing high, of course. But what you're doing is you're allowing United to be... I mean, even a 5-back, you can then go player for player, but they're allowing United space to work with and actually drawing Keys out to have to deal with Sandberg, create space in the central areas for your Narsoon, for your Schulers, which is not really where you want United to have space and have players available. Sandberg. Now Janssen. I also just think it's an odd use of profiling because, at times it's not... I mean, it's 5-4 when they don't have the ball, so Mailing tucks in and Keys is a right centre-half, but oftentimes you've got a 4-back with Ale as your left centre-back, and then Keys as in a wide area, which doesn't really make much sense.
I don't know whether it's a momentary shift, whether it's what we saw Passmore talking to Williams about at the stoppage, but Rachel Williams is now out on this right-hand side, and Hannah Kane's the one through the middle.
Here's Ziggiotti. Looks to chop it inside, and it's blocked away well by Ale. Potentially they're just looking to get Kane direct in central areas.
Potentially so, and just putting Ziggiotti, maybe Rachel Williams is now going to be the one that is responsible for tracking back and getting on Sandberg.
Lundqvist. Now Park. Fashions a pass back to Letitia. Janssen now. They want to penetrate United. They go wide again to Lundqvist. To Narsoon, who overhits her pass back into Lundqvist. Park. Lundqvist. Park again. And now Hannah Lundqvist going backwards. Letitia. Here's Janssen. This feels as defensive as Leicester should have been at the start.
Yeah.
Sandberg putting it in there, blocked away by Mailing. Because now there's not really the space for United to use.
No. And you feel like, do this for 36 minutes, it'd probably still be 0-0.
So, Letitia. Back into Janssen. Now Sandberg on this left-hand side. Just laying it into the path of Melvin Mallard. Leicester trying to claim offside there, which feels slightly ambitious. Mallard darts inside nicely, lays it into Miyazawa. Letitia now spreading it wide. Lundqvist into Park. Tries to flick it back towards Lundqvist, but Lehmann doing the defensive work. Does get caught there on the ball, but it's out of play for a goal kick. Lehmann complains to the referee. Not sure really what her complaint is, but certainly nothing with merit to it.
No. And again, Rick Parcel's now pulled Hannah Kane over for a chat. I get that. I don't know what he's trying to get his forwards to do. I'd love to know, because it just feels astonishing to me that he's just letting the defense. It's I think Parcel's tried to change things in this game, and it really hasn't worked.
Swaby nowhere to go, and Leicester there frustrated. You could see the goalkeeper was frustrated with not an option to pass to. You could see the players were frustrated with their lack of movement. United are fantastic pressers, but Leicester are really struggling to build out a tool in this game. That goes out of play. Leicester throw in now. Try and go up the line again. This thrown inside to Van Egmond. Flicked on well by Williams. Potentially that's what they're looking to do there, but Mailing can't keep it in touch. I guess, by having Williams wide, you get someone that can flick that ball on.
Yeah.
Tyler's choice now on the ball. I think United are almost baiting that press now, because there's no space at the moment to play into. Now they can go direct. Janssen tries to play it in behind, headed away by Swaby. Now soon picks up on the loose ball. Schuler down here. I think it was a head injury, so I'm very surprised the ref hasn't stopped it quicker. Does now stop the game. And Schuler will receive treatment. Hannah saying whatever he's trying to get them to do, it isn't working so far. Absolutely. Leicester struggling, I think, with the intensity of United. Struggling to handle the rotations of United. I want to see this one from Schuler. Seemed to be caught before the ball even dropped there. Oh, it's a stand on the ankle from Swabe. I'm not sure how much intention there was, but it's definitely a painful one for Leo Schuler.
Yeah, a bit of a weird one. I think the more problem was, I think it was the way that Swabe handled it before the ball got anywhere near anyone. But yeah, not a nice one for Schuler.
So she'll go off for a moment. I think Sandberg there was the most frustrated that the referee didn't give that as a foul, or didn't stop the game earlier. And as you've mentioned, she's been thoroughly involved in this game. The player with the most touches of anyone out there has been thriving, with Leicester not really being able to handle her so far. Neville back into his meter Ale. And across now to Chantal Swaby. Looking to go a little more direct. Lundqvist will pounce on that pass, and Park being a little bit more conservative on the ball, with obviously United down to 10 for the moment. Park. Letitia. This is where Leicester have got to take advantage. They've got an extra player out there right now, and they've wasted that chance because Schuler's back on the pitch. That's where maybe you press it with a little bit more aggression because you've got an extra player you can cover.
Yeah.
United didn't have a striker on the field, and they just let United knock it around the back and stand on the ball. Here's Nalsoon. Miyazawa now. Exchanges with Schuler, now looking to go to the left-hand side. Now to the right-hand side, and Lundqvist makes the overlapping run. Neville gets caught. Lundqvist into the box, and Ale deals well. And Van Egmond hooking the ball away. Miyazawa tries to touch it on. Ale steps up well and wins it back. Now Neville and Mallard down now. After another confrontation with the Leicester backline. Letitia on the ball. She's just checking to see if Mallard's okay. Now Park. I think Mallard must be okay because United happy to keep playing on. How about that? Are they? Yeah. They don't want to kick it out of play. Letitia, Miyazawa, nice turn. Pass it towards Ziggiotti, who gets caught there by Lehmann. That will be a free kick. Leicester press, not leaving them with many options.
There's been a couple of those just nicks now from Leicester. Also, Schuler getting caught a moment ago. Mallard was...
I love Lehmann trying to protest her innocence. She was so late there.
Yeah.
To that one. But there we go. Just catching Ziggiotti in the aftermath. Free kick now for Leicester. Kane brought down. Or Tierney, sorry, brought down. So that'll be a free kick in their own half. I wonder what it looks like they're going to go a little bit more direct with this. As then Neville and Van Egmond dropped off, but then they are going to try and play it in behind to little avail. It goes straight down the line out for United throw.
Yeah, they're really struggling. I spoke about in the build-up that when they do get opportunities to get on the ball and come forwards, they've got to take them, they've got to use them, but they just can't seem to get a foot on the ball at all.
If you're going to go long there, would you not try and go to the head of Rachel Williams? And Lundqvist makes a right mess of that throw. It doesn't come on. But so she's allowed to retake it. Gives the ball away though. Here's Lehmann. Wants to run at them, Alicia Lehmann. Lovely dart here. Cuts it back, and Janssen does well. Hooking it out of play for a corner. But that is where we can see Alicia Lehmann be dangerous. Great drive with the ball. Cut back could have been better. But that change of pace, that dynamism just alters that Leicester attack.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. Just bursts through 4 bodies there and forces Janssen to make the clearance. Much better from Leicester and Lehmann. That's the kind of things they need to do. When they get on the ball, be quick, be punchy with it, make United think, make them work, and in that case, catch them out.
Indeed. And once again here, the referee and Tierney will have a conversation over where the white line is for this corner. I mean, it's on the white line.
Yeah.
Not sure what the referee's complaining.
It's a really weird one. And it's not the kind of thing that ever really gets picked up, even if it is.
No. Tierney now puts it into the area. Schuler heading it away. I mean, as long as you're not being egregious and like taking it on the edge of the 18-yard box, it's not like no one's really going to notice. But the referee has an eagle eye wherever the ball's on the line, apparently. But that one was quite clearly in the right place.
Yeah.
It's one of those where you get everyone pushes that a little bit more, don't they? It seems to be. Back in the day, you just put it in the middle of the circle and swing it in the box.
Yeah.
Now it's how close can we get it? How, a fraction of an inch closer to the penalty area, just to cross it in. Lehman now wins it high, wants to drive it forwards, is able to just use her physicality to get away from Park. The pass wide isn't great, but Neville will get there. Now Ale. This is much better from Leicester in attacking areas. Back to Neville, who's going to swing it into the box, and that is a waste of what was looking quite positive for Leicester.
Yeah, really good from Leicester. Different. They've got Lehman in the game. Is what's happening at the moment, and she's just making things tick a little bit. Bit of pace to the game, making United think when Leicester get the ball forwards, working hard to turn the ball over. I have to say, it's been a good 35 minutes from Lehman, especially in the final third. Just looks a lot sharper than anything else Leicester have had all season, really.
Yeah, I think giving them directness, which they lack, giving them someone who is good at taking players on. They haven't really had anyone in attacking areas that can beat a player.
Yeah.
So that's that's really important, and she's showing that quality that we know she can possess. Letitia through the line, Schuler, great hold up, and United finding space to work with now. Has Lundqvist up in support, plays it to Hannah Lundqvist, who'll cut it across the box, and Clark will get there. And I think Leicester City have got to stop putting their hands up every time United come forward trying to claim for an offside.
Yeah.
Especially with how deep their line is.
Exactly that. You're never really going to catch the opposition offside. How easy was that, though, for Letitia just to play the pass through the lines into Schuler's feet, and Schuler really should have got that final ball to Lundqvist better. Should have been much better than it was.
A messy exchange in midfield. It's punted forwards. Lehman pounces on possession. Neville's going to go for a drive here. Playing through the United team, and the punt forwards not quite as imaginative.
Bit of kick and rush a couple of times in this game from Ash Neville.
Well, the initial sort of inversion and that little drive forwards is fine. I just don't really get why she's overran it and ran herself into a bit of trouble. But even then, why would you just punt it forwards?
Yeah.
Now soon. Carrying the ball, looks to play it through the lines, intercepted by Ale. Now soon again. Now Park. Looks dangerous now in the final third. Ale slips, and that's going to give Park even more space. Lovely ball roll now out wide into Sandberg. He wants to take on Mayling. Great defending though from Mayling just to get between her and the ball. And she'll try and see it out of play. The ball's not going anywhere now though. She clips it wide. Kane will try and get there. One back though by Ziggiotti. Too easily. And the pass inside though, not as good. Van Egmond. Lehman. Just giving that one back to United. Nalsoons now. And Lundqvist. Park gets away from Tierney. Commits a fairly egregious foul. That will be a free kick for United in a decent area.
Yeah. Again, it's becoming more scrappy, which, of course is suiting Leicester more than it is United. There's still some decent parts of good football in there for the away side, but you feel that Manchester United would have liked to kick on. They scored pretty early. They were playing good football, but I just think Leicester are now doing well to kind of, stagnate them a little bit, slow things down, take the pace out of the game, and United are just struggling to. I think the football in the middle third is really good from United, but at the moment they're just struggling to break into that penalty area and get more shots off. I think they'd like to put a bit more pressure on Clark, but this free kick presents a good opportunity to do that.
Yeah, I mean, this has got to be a shot on goal, right? Sandberg and Janssen over this. You'd think it would be Janssen, I believe, has taken more. Just get this on goal, and Janssen will take this, and it does float just wide there at the far post. You've got to hit the target there for me, but not a bad effort from Dominique Janssen.
Yeah, not terrible. It's far out, so she either had to go for power or to float it. She opted to float it.
She's trying to find that top corner, isn't she? I think against a goalkeeper like Clark, though, who doesn't look confident, just get it on target. Because, the worst case is she just catches it and then you have to drop into your shape. But you're not going to be massively exposed. Best case, it either flies past her or she parries it into trouble. By trying to aim for the top corner there, you've got a very slim chance of anything else happening. Kane, ball in, punched away. Well by Tullis Joyce, and Leicester try and capitalise on the edge, but it's cleared away by United. Throw in now, out the pitch.
Again, better from Leicester, getting the ball down. Williams that time was the one progressing it.
Swung in by Mailing, touched down by Ziggiotti. Not fully cleared away though. Keys now, or floated in there. Headed away by Letitia. And a game of headers for United results in Nalsoon driving possession forwards. Lifts it in behind for Mallard, who's up against Swaby. Can she beat the Jamaican centre-half? Does well to get between the centre-backs with a ball. Looking for Schuler. Not quite what she intended.
Yeah. United were disappointed by that. A lot of space to use. Leicester caught a bit high at the pitch. Should have really punished. But yeah, difficult one. Oh, Lehman's been caught there by Lundqvist, and I think Lundqvist has probably got away with one there.
Schuler dropping off. Miyazawa now to Mallard. Options both to the left and the right. Now Janssen. Sandberg. Nalsoon. Nowhere to go, and Mailing winning it back. Clark plays it forwards. It drops in midfield, and Park wins it back well. Evading a few rogue challenges in there from Van Egmond and Tierney. Sandberg. Park exchanging back to Sandberg. Janssen now lifting it in there, looking for Schuler, who's just struggling to beat those Leicester players in the air at the moment. Schuler's a player who wants that ball in behind, and when they've had those opportunities, they haven't really been able to find her with the passes. Leicester are dropping deeper, and without a Turland, I don't really have anyone to aim for in the box.
Yeah, exactly that. I think that has become the problem, is that they're missing a bit of presence in there. But I think even behind her, Nalsoon has had a very quiet game. Hasn't really got involved. A lot of things are coming out wide for United. Then they're looking to come centrally, and they can't. And neither Schuler or Nalsoon can seem to be picked out in the middle.
Thing is, what you need from Schuler is her to make the sort of selfless runs and drop that back line even deeper to create space then on the edge. Foul there again. Park brought down. Neville chased her down, and as Park mouths quite obviously there to the referee, it's the third time that has happened, and she's not happy at all.
I mean, Ash Neville did run 20, 30 yards, followed Park into the picture to take her out.
Sandberg. Mallard up against Mailing, and that's brilliant from Mallard, who's then felled afterwards, and that will be a free kick. And I think Mailing could be the first into the book here for Leicester. Just got done by Mallard and had to bring her down.
Brilliant from Mallard through the legs of Mailing, and Mailing just trips her up.
Yeah, that's quite an obvious foul.
I'm really surprised that Leicester have got 41 minutes into this game. We haven't seen a yellow card yet, because there have been quite a few fouls.
She just kicks her.
Yeah.
And I don't think it is a yellow card. Referee, just a warning given to Mailing at this point.
Yeah, Letizier's going to ask the question, understandably so, because there's been a couple. Schuler's been on the end of some robust challenges. Park, obviously, there, the same. Mallard as well. Sandberg, that's a great ball. Oh, well
away again. I think it was Rachel Williams who got the touch in there.
I thought that was going to be a moment to head home for United. But, does well running back towards her own goal to not turn it to anywhere near her own goal. Very smartly, deliberately flicks it away. Exactly what you need to do when you're defending those kind of situations.
Yeah, definitely. Good header from Williams getting it away. As you say, I thought that could have been a replica of what we saw from Neville a few weeks ago as she headed home for Tottenham.
That was Moekim in army. That would have been a bullet header into the back of the net.
And now Sandberg looping it in there. A good ball again. It's headed up in the air, and Keys nods it out for another corner.
Yeah, Leicester just want to get through to the half, and although it is another corner here, United have had a lot of these set pieces and not really used any of them.
I wonder if they can do something else from these set pieces, because it just feels like loop it into the box and see what happens. And I just think maybe you can try a routine 9th corner of this game for United. Ziggiotti puts it towards the back post again, and Schuler does get there, but it's headed over the bar.
That was the best of the bunch.
Lundqvist, mating it in the air. And Not a bad, good delivery. Not bad from Lundqvist. Just can't quite get over it. And it goes over the bar.
Did well to out-jump Rachel Williams there. And not a bad header either. Leicester, though, that should be enough. I'm not expecting 2 minutes of additional time. That should be enough, really, to see them through to the half.
Yeah. They've scrapped and scraped, really, their way into the second half. But
they've got better.
Only being 1-0 down does give them something to fight for. Mailing knocks it into midfield. Here's Van Egmond, who will drill it out. Perfect weight towards Neville, but Park intercepts. Lehmann touched it back down to Mailing. Tierney now. Wide into Mailing, touched back to Keys, who loops it into the area, and Lehmann can't get there. Kept alive by Tierney. A foul there from Lehmann, who barged into Ziggiotti.
Yeah, just went for the ball, didn't get it, and pushed Ziggiotti over. Don't mind that though. She's just thrown herself at it, which isn't a bad thing to do at all. But yeah, just a bit too aggressive. Gets there second, and sees the foul.
Indeed, I don't know if there's any stoppage time. There will be, though. 2 minutes of additional time in this first half. As you said, not expecting too much.
No.
Not with many stoppages, but this will give United another 120 seconds to try and find a goal. 30 of which have already ticked away. Miyazawa. Now Letitia. Ziggiotti touches it into Janssen, who tries to play it forwards. Cut out, though, by Mailing.
Yeah, another good piece of defending that from Sarah Mailing. Just once again in this first half showing why Leicester brought her in.
Janssen wants to switch the play, and that's a wonderful pass. An even better touch by Lundqvist, who'll hit it now into Jess Park. She keeps it in play, tries to knock it on past Ale. Ale will get there, back to her goalkeeper now, who chooses the safe route. But it's Lundqvist who picks up the ball. A lovely pirouette to escape Ash Neville. Now Nalsund into Schuler. Back towards Lundqvist, who lifts it towards Sandberg. But Mailing will get there. And Sandberg just catching her in the aftermath. That will be a Leicester free kick.
Yeah, I think it was a knee to the face from Sandberg there.
I think it was quite to the face, to be fair. But it was a high knee. It might have been, to be fair.
Yeah, I think it just met her as Mailing came down. Not much force in it, though.
Yeah, as Mailing says there, she's fine. Sky getting some great close-ups whenever the players are talking so far. And Clark now with this free kick. And this will likely be the last action of this first half. Clark punting it out. Mallard heads it down, though. Williams will come forwards, and Leicester may be given a little bit of a grace period here to bring the ball forwards. Kane touching it onto Mailing. Out for a throw-in. And that will be it for the first half here at the King Power Stadium. It's Leicester City 0, Manchester United 1. The early cross, which bounced past Clark from Ziggiotti Olma, being the only goal in this first 45. And the only thing in the way of any sort of goal-mouth action. 6 shots from United, 2 from Leicester. Nothing clear-cut created at the break. Leicester City 0, Manchester United 1.
Yeah, good half from United. Started fast, would have liked to kick on, but Leicester dug deep and managed to keep themselves in the game and set up what should be a decent second half. But yeah, I thought that first half, on the whole, although United are leading, I think it probably went the way Leicester would have preferred. It was, it definitely slowed down a bit. United found it more and more difficult to get on the ball and play. The pace slowed down, and the goal-mouth action really dried up. So United have got the lead, which is important, but I think Leicester will be pretty content with how that half went, because conceding pretty early, they were under a lot of pressure early doors. I think they've done well to come away with only being a goal down in that first half, because there were points in that match, that first kind of 20 minutes, where United could have been 2 or 3-0 up. They didn't take advantage, and Leicester managed to work their way back into the game. But yeah, a bit of a shift in pace definitely as the half went on, but I think overall Leicester will be pretty content with how it went out, and United will be disappointed that they aren't more comfortable in this game.
Yeah, I think it was a first half that Leicester City would have been very happy with without the goal. In
Yeah.
the sense that I think before that, United were coming forwards, there's lots of space. Once they scored, we thought Leicester would be even more open. What actually happened was Leicester worked out how to defend suddenly.
Yeah.
But if they'd been doing that since the start of the game, this would have been an even more difficult game for Manchester United than it already has been. So, yeah, United got that goal though, and that's really important. It makes it easier now to sit off. Leicester have come forwards at times, but we're not seeing them create anything. There's been some positive moments, some positive touches, some nice actually combination play in the final third, but there's not been anything clear cut created. They've not had an opportunity at close range they've missed. They've not had the ball fitted to cross goal or something. They've not had those chances yet. I mean, Lehmann's burst was fantastic, but the cutback wasn't there. And that, was a big opportunity, which could have been, that didn't really materialise. And you do just feel they're lacking that final ball, that bit of creativity in the final third that maybe would lead to a goal. We haven't really seen them take too many shots. 2 shots so far, only 1 on target. That was Rachel Williams in the 9th minute and Hannah Kane in the 34th minute. Both from fairly deep angles, not really high chances of scoring. They've not really been on the ball either, Leicester City, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it has been shockingly low. Only 76 passes, sorry, even less, 72 passes completed in the first half, 27% of possession, United dictating the tempo. And it's really difficult to progress the ball if you don't have it.
Yeah, exactly that. You can't hurt the opposition while they've got the ball unless they mess up or put it in their own net. So yeah, it's a really difficult situation for Leicester to be in, because while they've managed to dig in, stay stuck in there for 45 minutes, having that little possession isn't, it won't last. You cannot play like that for another 45 minutes, because if it's the same possession stat, United will eventually get another goal in this game. They want to get something going in the final third. They've got to get more on the ball. I think that, as you say, there have been some bright moments, but there's also been some really weird ones where it's been a sloppy pass or just a random punt forwards and a hope for the best, which is really costly when you're not having possession. You need to do everything you can to keep hold of it. So just running forwards and then just kicking it in the general direction of the goal, or trying an audacious knockout wide, sometimes isn't the best option. They need to get better at recycling possession and just being a bit safer on the ball. It's difficult because when you have so little of the ball, you want to move quickly, progress it forwards, and try and catch your opposition out. But sometimes you do just need to slow it down a little bit, take the pace out of the game, and get your foot on the ball. They've got some top players in this Leicester side. They're capable to play on the ball football. And I don't look at it when we like what we saw with Liverpool at the start of the season, where every time they tried to play out, they lost the ball, or Everton right now, where they just keep giving the ball away. Leicester have got the players for me to play that kind of football, to get on the ball, especially in the middle area of the pitch. Van Egmond and Tierney, are both very, very good in possession. So I think they've got to do better at getting the ball down and just starting to wrangle back a bit of control in this game, because at the moment, yes, Leicester are hanging on in there, but United are still the ones who are controlling what the ball's doing. Leicester have got to find a way just to, steal back some of that possession.
I do think, though, I don't mind how direct they've been. I think if you look at it from the other angle, in terms of who they're playing against today, if you let United drop into their defensive shape, do Leicester have anyone that's going to create something, be able to break that low block down? And I think, they've got to be direct. That's where they're going to open up the pockets. United haven't been incredible. I think it's difficult. I mean, we often talk about teams struggling against low blocks as the manager's fault. And I think, again, we're seeing United struggle against a low block. What I will say, though, is I don't know any managers who do thrive against low blocks. Like, fundamentally, against a low block, you've got to rely on players being good enough to make something happen and force those mistakes. I mean, teams like City are really good at being able to invite the pressure and then play into the space created, but often you do just have to rely on that individual quality, and that's what United have done. That ball from Zighiotti and the movement from Schuler creates that first goal. Not that Schuler gets any contact on it, but that movement, it makes it very difficult for Clark to judge where the ball's going to go. And obviously that's the only reason Zighiotti puts that ball into that kind of area, is because of the movement. But outside of that, the chances have been few and far between. I think Sandberg's done really well getting down the left-hand side, but her balls into the box haven't really gone anywhere. They don't have someone to target with crosses today. Where I think we have seen them well, the best chance, the next best chance of the game came from that corner, didn't it? Where Lundqvist just headed it over the bar. But outside of that, United haven't created loads. I do think as Leicester tire and as United perhaps get a second in this game, the space will open up and they'll probably kick on. I think it'll probably be a 3 or 4-0 win at this the way this game's going. But I mean, if they don't take those opportunities and Leicester do fight their way back into this game, it could get a little bit nervy.
Yeah, it definitely could. I think that, since Leicester shifted back into more traditional 5 and we saw Rachel Williams come onto this right-hand side, I don't think we've seen Sandberg involved as much. And she had a really good first 20 minutes, but once they made that shift, she's not being afforded as much space as she was, and now she's finding it more difficult to create opportunities. Yes, United have got the quality, of course. They could create one more good chance, and they've got the quality players to take it, and suddenly, that will put them out of sight. But it's one of those where if Leicester can keep being strong defensively, I think they've got to be careful of allowing Melvin Mallard too much space, because she seems to be she's the live wire of this United side. When she gets on the ball, you don't know what's going to happen. We've already seen her have the beating of a few players on that Leicester right hand side. So that's definitely it's definitely something they've got to be concerned about. I think Park again has been looked good when there's been space to use, but I think once Leicester do drop in, Park is struggling a little bit to create as much as she would like to. But overall, I think United are doing okay. But as you say, I think they'd like to create more chances, and they need to try and find a way to really get through this Leicester side, because I think once they start to open them up and expose gaps, and they could really run riot. But if they don't do that, then Leicester can keep ticking along doing what they're doing and hoping that at some point in this game the ball will just fall nicely for them to level up.
Yeah, I think for Park, she's massively missing Ella Toone. I think when you've got, obviously, with the way that Park plays in the system, she likes to come inside to work in the half space. But when you've got a Toone in there, not only have you got someone to combine with and work off of, and also someone that sort of shares the creative responsibility, but you've also got someone who to distract and who draws attention, and that makes it much easier then to find space in midfield, because there is that focus then on dealing with Toone. I'm not sure Nalsund offers you the same sort of ability to combine in tight spaces, or the ability to draw opposition players to create then space. So, yeah, it's been difficult, I think, for Park to get those opportunities, to get that space to work with. There's been a couple really tidy drives. They've often been horizontal and not really going anywhere. You want to be a little bit more direct. They don't necessarily have to be like driving at goal, but you want to see her bursting into that far side. You want to see her driving through the lines and progressing the ball effectively for United. We've not really seen her be able to do that in this game. Phil says eventually we'll see a return of big number 9s in football. They were historically the way teams dealt with low blocks. I think the problem is that things are so focused on possession. I mean, if you can get a complete player who does it all, then it's perfect. But we saw teams sort of move towards the big physical number 9, and then that realised that their possession side fell apart. I mean, again, football's quite cyclical in its nature, and things do tend to come back around or have ways of re-establishing themselves as sort of the modern trend. I mean, we've seen it this season in the Premier League with set pieces, the absolute focus on those. But yeah, I mean, potentially we will see something like that, Phil. But well, yeah, I think again, but you need to be able to do it all. I mean, Bunny Shaw is fantastic at being able to hold the ball up, and she's a brilliantly physical player. But she wouldn't function that United system if she wasn't as good on the ball as well, as being able to hold it up and combine with other players. So yeah, I think of course if you can get a striker who is just a mould of everything, that is the ideal, isn't it? But they're very difficult players to get your hands on. So. Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to see what United do in the second half. I think they will naturally find more space as Leicester tire. Those gaps do tend to appear a bit more frequently. So potentially they'll find a little bit more space. And as they make substitutions and their team either gets, equally as strong or slightly stronger, and as Leicester don't have really those options to improve, you think that the opportunities for United will increase as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that they'll be keen to kill this game off very quickly. They'll be keen to come out fast in the second half and get it done. The massive game in the Champions League on Thursday against Atletico Madrid. So they'll be keen to get this game done and look to rotate. But I think that will involve them coming out fast and killing it off, getting a couple of goals in the first 5-10 minutes of the second half, and then they can afford to, you're looking at, can you bring up, you can't really bring off any of the centre halves because they haven't got any others, but I think definitely in the front line, you would look at bringing off Park, look at saving Mallard. They're the kind of players they're going to need on Thursday to get through that Atletico Madrid back line. So that'll be in the back of the mind of Mark Skinner, and he'll just be thinking, how can he find a way to deal with that and make that work. But it primarily the job is about it's about getting the job done today and making sure they walk off this pitch with 3 points, because if Leicester can just hang in there at the very start of this half, then it could get interesting towards the end. But as you say, the quality off the United bench should be superior. Noé Mouchon could offer something different for Leicester, but apart from that, I'm not inspired by their options. So United should just see this one out, but you never know. Football's a funny game sometimes. I've seen Leicester pull off some big results this season, and I think that they would really like to take something. If they could take something from this game, it would be a big boost for that relegation fight and just start to put more points between them and the three sides below them.
Yeah, as always in football, the next goal is the most important. I think if United score, especially early in the half, they will kick on. It will be 3-4, maybe even 5-0. If Leicester, though, can come out and get an early goal, I think it definitely changes the dynamic of this game, and I think it will perhaps push it into an area where we're looking at Leicester holding on to the game, trying to get, it just changes how both sides approach the rest of this match. I think it would give Leicester that belief and something really to hold on to. But yeah, as I say, I think United will score early in the second half, and I think they can kick on from there and secure a big victory. But we'll see what happens. Phil says Mouchon for Kane would be Michael. I think Kane really struggled in the first half. Yeah, I think Mouchon gives you something or someone who will run in behind, something to try and target in behind that United defence.
Yeah.
But yeah, we haven't seen Mouchon been used loads under Rick Passmore, so we'll see what happens there. But yeah, potentially we could see Mouchon on.
Yeah, it's one of those where I think once you get players like Mouchon and Rantala back and firing, then it could make all the difference, especially towards the end of the season. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Does look like Shannon O'Brien was the one warming up there for Leicester, so that will be the change they opt to make, which I would find they're the changes. They're the changes I find a bit bizarre sometimes. Why would you go O'Brien when you got Noé Mouchon sat right there? I think Mouchon is a better player, quicker player, a better finisher. Again, is quite tall as well. So yeah, I would be surprised if we were to see I wouldn't now. We're seeing them warm up, but that is why I think Rick Passmore it's just an interesting decision. I'm not sure about that one.
Yeah, and both Manchester United teams in action, by the way, the men's and the women's. The men's still 0-0 with Tottenham, but Christian Romero has been sent off to the surprise of absolutely nobody after 29 minutes for booting Casemiro. So yeah, just thought that was good fun to mention. But yeah, it's been a close game. I think it's what we expected in terms of the way Leicester would approach this match. In terms of the way United have struggled, it's very similar to where they've struggled in the past. If they can come out and move the ball a little bit quicker and target those gaps in the Leicester system, they'll hurt them. If they get that early goal, the cracks will start to expose themselves more prominently. The gaps open up a little bit more. Players start to tire, and that work ethic goes down because you lose that belief. And I think United will kick on from that position. Subs as well will be an important part. I think that they'll, I'd like to see them use Van Gaal through the middle. I think this will be a good opportunity to do that, and actually her mixture of being a very physical and a fantastic athlete, but also being able to play in behind and break in behind, that almost complete striker mould, I think she can show that off in this kind of game. So we'll see what happens as we move into the second half. Both teams ready here at the King Power Stadium, and it's Leicester City who will get us back underway. Rachel Williams from the middle knocks it back, and we're back underway for another 45 minutes of action here at the King Power Stadium. Leicester City down by a goal to nil. Can they mount a comeback, or can United kick on in their pursuit of Champions League football? Headed away well by Swaby. Zigiotti trying to touch it towards Melvin Mallard. One back in there by Tierney. And her ball floated over the top, and Kane is in here. Plays it across, looking for Lehmann. Drops back for Kane, who squares it to Williams, who takes it in her stride. Neville now slashes across the box into Kane. Can she score? It's blocked away. And Leicester, a great opportunity and they just failed to capitalise on it. And United looking to bring it the other way. Mallard now drilling it, overhitting it towards Park, and that will run through to Olivia Clark. But what a great start for Leicester. Should they have scored there, Harry?
Yeah, absolutely. Got to take advantage. They caught United napping. Really good play from Kane, who cut it back, and it was behind Rachel Williams, and it just slowed the whole move down, and then it fell back to Kane after it bounced around a bit, and well blocked by Sandberg. But Leicester, what a chance at the start of this half to get back level.
Yeah, here's Ale. United were trying to come forwards there. Mallard just overhitting it, and Leicester won it back. As Leicester try and drive forwards, Lehmann goes down on a challenge from Lundqvist, and I think holding on to the ball there is one of a free kick.
Yeah, there had to be a decision there. I think it was either a foul or a handball. I think the first one probably was a foul from Lundqvist. But United just got to be careful that they don't rest on their laurels and get caught out in this second half.
Nice ball over the top from Tierney. Rising well, though, is Letitia. A strong challenge in there from Van Egmond. That could have gone horribly wrong, but she timed it well. Lehmann. Nice turn. Neville now just lifting it towards Lehmann, who will try and drive this forward. Of course, the ref is very reluctant to give Leicester anything. I don't know. I think Leicester are quite fortunate, actually. I think they've had the rub of the green from the ref. They've made incessant fouls. The referee hasn't booked any of them yet. That one there on Lehmann was dubious, but I didn't think Lundqvist made much contact with her at all. No, I'd have made a stronger argument for Lehmann getting booked and that being a United free kick for Lehmann holding the ball.
Yeah. I think it's on the whole it's been refereed well. I just think there's been a couple of it's been the weird nitpicky things that have surprised me. Like there, Ale was just sent back 3 paces for a throw, and Tierney's been pulled up twice for the ball at a corner being very slightly out the circle.
It's one of those where it just disrupts the flow of the game. I think that's where it's probably not benefited. That's probably where it's benefited Leicester. Where yes, they want to get on and attack in those situations, but it is just slowing the game down. That has been their goal through most of this match. Both these sides are much more frequent goal scorers in the second half of games, and that one definitely a foul from Lundqvist, and the referee quick to give it as such. Neville Gidding fouled quite egregiously. A strong challenge on the top of the foot from Lundqvist, who just arrived late, and she got the first yellow card in this game. Which, it's definitely a yellow card. I think where the absurdity comes is that somehow a Man United player is the first to be carded in this one.
Yeah, that one is surprising. Lundqvist isn't unlucky, actually, because she committed 2 fouls, and that second one was definitely a yellow card. But yeah, again, it just speaks. I think game management is a massive problem at the moment with referees in the WSL.
Mallard there getting grabbed by Tierney. So a free kick now for United. And it's Letitia over this. Miyazawa. Now Lundqvist. Back to Letitia. Now Miyazawa. Park. Narsund. Finds Janssen. Now Mallard. Good hold up. And that's brilliant from Narsund to wriggle away from Key. Sandberg. Just want to float that in, but it's quite high and quite wide.
Yeah, Sandberg's setting up some really good positions in this game, but I think the quality of delivery has been very hit and miss.
Yeah,
including the corners, really, some really good in swingers. But I think there's also been a couple of deliveries from those corners that have gone astray. Rick Passmore's got the pen and pad out. Would like to know what's written down on that one. Defend. Full stop.
Please.
Yeah.
Lundqvist battling away. It's Williams who comes away with the ball, though. Knocks it out towards the right-hand side. Mailing now. Back to Captain Tierney, who's caught on the ball. And Miyazawa can drive this forward. Tries to slip it in behind. That's a poor pass from Miyazawa. Swaby able to pick it off. And now the ball searching for Lehmann. Letitia heads it away.
Yeah, game's opened up in the second half. And Leicester are kind of not going for it, but they're being aggressive. And I think it's caught United out a little bit, because you'd think that Leicester being more open would allow United to have more opportunities. But Leicester being a bit more positive is almost pinning United a couple yards further back.
Let's meet to Ale. Throws it into Williams. Great hold up from the forward. Now Tierney, who is fouled by Melvin Mallard, just a push there from the winger.
Yeah, this game's starting to get a bit of an edge to it, isn't it?
I think United are growing frustrated. They're growing frustrated the fact they didn't score more than one in the first half. They're getting frustrated the fact that Leicester are starting to threaten them.
Yeah.
Just feeling the pressure, perhaps, of being in their position. Tierney to take. And Rachel Williams pointing where she wants this. And it's going to go towards Williams at the back post. Heads it towards goal. Great claim from Fallon Taylor-Joyce. A well-executed set piece, though. Williams unable to generate the power that she would have wanted through that header.
Yeah, not a bad header. Got it goalwards, but needed more on it. But that's a striker's dream, that. You ask for the ball to be played somewhere and your midfielder delivers perfectly.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, she pointed it out. If United had turned around, they'd have seen where it's going. But yeah, able to find Williams well. Here's Lundqvist. Zigiotti finds Miyazawa, who goes wide into Park. Just holding the ball on the touchline. Now back to Letitia. Zigiotti. Loca says she wanted to point out Chelsea extended Bonpastor's contract to 2030. Yeah, I thought the timing of it was odd, but I thought the decision was the right one. And actually, I mean, it's only odd because we think of contracts in the football context of, it's got to come when you're doing well, you earn it. But I actually think a contract now as a show of support is a strengthening. So, yeah, I'm not annoyed about it. I think it's a good decision. Here's Sandberg. Now, Mallard. Drilling it back towards Lundqvist. Letitia back towards Lundqvist. And they take Lehmann out of the game there effectively. Ball towards Narsoon will bounce through to Clark.
Yeah, again, it's not a bad run from Narsoon. It has been a quiet one, though, from Lisa Narsoon.
Yeah, she's not got in this game at all. No, a catalyst, really, for positive stuff in their game against Liverpool, but hasn't been afforded that space today. I think obviously with Liverpool having a 4-back and Leicester having a 5-back, what you end up with is a player in there who is able to make it their role to deal with Narsoon, but often actually that 10, especially against Liverpool, is able to operate in between the lines, and while Turner stretched the back line effectively and the midfield had to push up, it left that space in there that Narsoon was able to capitalise on. United preparing a double change here, Riviere and Fridolina Rolfo.
Yeah, these were changes that they probably would have been liked to be in a position where they didn't have to make them, but sensing that this game is not fully wrapped up.
I think as well you've got Mallard on there who is growing frustrated, and you've got Lundqvist on a yellow card.
Yeah.
So perhaps just there a bit of game management from United. Mailing, trying to create space for the delivery. Narsoon sees her back though. Keys back to Mailing. I think Mallard is not far away from getting a yellow card in this game.
Yeah.
Ale. Now Van Egmond. Here's Williams. Ale. Williams. Ale again. Just turn from Van Egmond. Saw a statistic the other day, just on the mention of Sonia von Pastor. She's the second longest reigning manager in the WSL.
Wow, behind Mark Skinner.
Behind the longest reigning Mark Skinner. Back now into Janssen. I mean, Passmore's already not doing too bad, is he?
Yeah.
Schuler. Carrying it forwards. Now into Melvin Mallard, who wants to take on Mailing. Looking to create something here. Cuts it back for Narsoon on the edge. Can she get a shot away? Narsoon. Mallard now. That's blocked well. Drops for Miyazawa. Ziggiotti's not going to get there. Lehmann tries to poke it out. It's one of those, I think we spoke about at the time with Passmore. It was an odd decision to hire him permanently. It's one that you think, I mean, they've got points in the first half season, Leicester. That's been really important. But it's one that you think if they did go down, they'd probably be able to thrive in the Championship. They'd probably play very different football, and this team would probably thrive in that division.
I think it would, but then would they sack him? Because he's not. Can Rick Parsons play free-flowing, attacking, dominant football?
Yeah, but I guess if they want to stay in the top flight as well, would he win that playoff match? I think possibly. The way they play football, probably.
I don't see a world where Rick Parsons at Leicester
and they're in the WSL too. Yeah.
Or I don't know. Either way, I think even if they stay up, he's too negative to keep him in the league next season once it goes to proper relegation.
But I think it depends who comes up, because if you get a team if you get teams that aren't going to have to invest as much, Leicester might get away with it. Changes here for United, by the way, and it is the double change we expected. Mallard and Lundqvist making way, Riviere and Rolfo in their places. Just shy of that a few minutes shy of that 60-minute mark, which I think is, why perhaps both those subs look a little frustrated, and imagine many aerial fantasy managers will be feeling somewhat frustrated. Riviere throws into the area, headed away by Neville. Logan says, would Mallard be better as a false nine? I don't know. I think she's a good sort of in-behind striker, but you need to play in a very transitional team. I think, Melvin Mallard would be incredible. It's never going to happen, but she'd be incredible at Manchester City with how transitional they are. Ball in, headed away. Drops now for Letitia. Rolfo, Miyazawa. I'm surprised we haven't seen United lean into being a more transitional team with the team that they've got.
Skinner likes control, doesn't he?
Yeah. We've seen that this season with the way they've set up. Letitia. Into Miyazawa. Janssen. Sandberg. I think he's very risk averse, is set up, and that naturally means that it's going to be very possession based.
Yeah. Yeah, he's not a gambling man, is he, Mark Skinner? Especially, look at those top games that we've seen this season.
Riviere tries to play it through the lines. Good hold up here from Fridolina Rolfo, who now plays it towards Lea Schuler. Can she beat Ale here? Schuler. Back now to Miyazawa. Here's Rolfo. Clipping it up towards the left-hand side. That's overhit again from Rolfo. I think Schuler's got to do better there in the wide area. I am worried for Schuler already that we haven't seen her come into the league and set it alight. This is the kind of game where there is a little bit more space. I think especially now Leicester are trying to push up. I hope they give her the 90 here because she really needs a goal.
Yeah, as you know, she scored against Burnley in the FA Cup. But as you say, that's not anything really to write home about. But yeah, kind of, didn't have the greatest run coming into Man United.
Great pressure from Ziggiotti, and the pass to Rolfo is misplaced. That disappointing there from Ziggiotti Olma. Ball down the line, Kane battling away. Janssen will get there though. And now they'll look to play out from this position. That's a ball hit long. Brought down brilliantly by Lisa Nalsoon. At Schuler and Park. Manages to get away from Van Egmond into Park now. Can she create space for the shot? Jess Park just overplaying it a little there. And Ale will get there. And that should have been better from United in the final third.
Yeah, another opportunity for them to break away and get a second goal. And they don't take it. I think Nalsoon had to shift it out to Park earlier. And then Park makes a complete mess of it. United are really struggling to kill this game off.
Rolfo. One back in there well by Ziggiotti. Now Miyazawa, a couple fouls in there, but United still have possession. It slipped in behind. Here's Schuler. Can she score here? Schuler lashes at it. And that's over the bar. United did really well there to capitalise. There was a foul, and Leicester kind of stopped because they'd committed the foul. But advantage was played. United took advantage of that.
Yeah, another really nice move. Love Schuler here. Peels well off Swaby, but the shot, I get it's a tight angle, but again, got to keep it down. I think that
arguably the better option there is to almost fake it, chop it, because you've got Rolfo there who's making the run inside.
And that's the thing, is it's just weird because I think, composure is something that I really associate with Schuler. As, in a Germany shirt, when she was firing in the goals for Bayern Munich, but again, it's lacked a little bit, I think.
It's easy to be composed and settled environment, in a comfortable environment. When you're at a new club, in a new country, a division you're not familiar with, I think you're naturally going to be quite desperate to score, quite desperate to get that first goal, break that duck quite quickly. And I do think already having a few matches under her belt where she hasn't been able to score, it will be a point of frustration for Leah Schuler.
Yeah. I think United overall were getting frustrated in this game.
Yeah.
They would have really liked to have killed this game off a lot sooner. But they haven't threatened at all. Olivia Clark's had nothing to do in this second half. They've had a couple of shots, but they've gone well wide of the mark.
Riviere now. And we will look over to the subs bench, and Leicester bringing in fresh blood. That is Shannon O'Brien and Noemi Mouchon. So a double change, and Williams and Kane will be withdrawn. I think that is both two very positive subs.
Yeah, absolutely. Sensing an opportunity and going for it. They've got nothing to lose, Leicester now. They've got to, we've played just over the hour mark, 30 minutes to go. They will, they'll fancy themselves to try and hit on the break here and make something happen. And I think Mouchon especially will be the danger for United. They've got to be wary of her. A player that obviously was injured, came back this season, then had another setback. Now back, can Noemi Mouchon finally get a run of games going? Because I think if she can, she could be a real danger for Leicester.
Yeah, absolutely. Player that we know has so much potential. It was it's weird. She was brought in under Amandine Mikel. I think she played about 3 matches in total for Mikel. She was injured for most of last season and has been injured for most of this season. Laetitia trying to play it in behind, head away well by Sari Keys. But I think the positive changes, both Williams and Kane have struggled.
Yeah.
We'll see what they can do with a rejuvenated front line. Laetitia. In towards Ziggiotti, tries to flick it towards Schuler. And Lehmann lays it to Neville, who plays it down the line. Mouchon will get there. Laetitia does well to knock it out of play. Leicester throw in, though. She'll let it drop for Neville, who gets up the line. And she'll let it go for Asmita Rail. And Leicester are really pushing up here on this throw. Going to go looking for Mouchon, and that is a poor throw-in. Lehmann will give a saunter towards the ball, but it's seen out well by Riviere.
Did all that to push everyone up the pitch, get up there and just throw it out of touch. But yeah.
Rachel Williams here withdrawn to a round of applause from both the travelling and home support.
Say Leicester fans seem to like her a lot already.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
And a double change coming for Manchester United, and I don't think they will keep Schuler on for 90 minutes, as I said they should. As Turland and Awujo will enter the fray, and that is going to be Leah Schuler withdrawn after 64 minutes here. Again, it's another game where she's not scored, and I do worry how long that's going to go on for. Now soon the other player who makes way, Awujo in her place.
Yeah, makes sense that one. Now soon's not really been her afternoon. Awujo come on and try and help United get over the line here. Yeah, Schuler it's one of those where you don't want to ruck to begin. You just want to hit the back of the net. Maybe the Champions League could be a good opportunity for her to do that, whether she starts or comes off the bench. The competition she's more familiar in, but yeah, you don't want to get a bad run going.
Mouchon misplaces that. Sandberg picks off the pass. Bit messy there as the clearance or the pass forward from Janssen deflects off O'Brien. But it does end up in the hands of Tullis Joyce. Miyazawa knocks it back to Tullis Joyce. Janssen. Lovely turn in there from Hinata Miyazawa. And that a really poor pass, uncharacteristically poor, but Mouchon can't hold on to it, and Riviere can bring it forwards now. Options to the left and right. Indecisive, though, and she's dispossessed. A lot of indecision from United today. It almost feels like they've got too many options.
Yeah.
Like every pass, looking do I go left or do I go right? There's no clear decision. O'Brien carrying it forwards. Leicester now have got space to drive into. Shannon O'Brien on the right-hand side. Still going forwards here. Can she find a teammate? Well, she's held on too long. Sandberg brings her down in the area. Not enough, though, for a penalty in the view of the referee, but it is cleared out by Tullis Joyce for a corner now, and O'Brien is bemused.
Yeah, I'd like to see that one back. I mean, after Brian cuts him well, yeah, no, it would be soft. I don't think it is. Sandberg runs back in.
She doesn't get the ball.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Sandberg's
that's
got
a
away
pen.
with one. I really do.
I think that should have been a pen there.
Yeah, that's a.
It's very clumsy from Sandberg at minimum. O'Brien, she's run herself into trouble, but the ball's still within her grasp. I think that should have been a penalty.
Yeah.
Ball is into the box. Van Egmond from range didn't catch that too badly, but it is over the bar.
Yeah, don't mind having to go from there. No, why not at this stage in the game? Caught it sweetly, but yeah, I think Anna Sambo's got away with one there. I really do. Get another look at it. So she cuts inside, beats Ziggiotti.
That's a stone penalty, isn't it?
And I think if Janssen doesn't come back in and get the ball, I think the referee's more likely to give that, because you'd see O'Brien was going to get there.
I guess the only argument is she's already lost possession by the time that she's fouled, but I think it's still a foul. Awujo carrying it forwards now to Riviere, who beats Neville, overlapping Neville with a fantastic challenge, but I think Riviere coming off quite badly in that one. Neville will go over to check her. And Riviere accepts the apology.
That's brilliant.
A really good tackle.
And that's why it frustrates you when Ash Neville makes like really silly errors or really rookie mistakes, because she can also pull off brilliant pieces of defending like that.
Yeah.
And that's what Leicester signed her for. But the problem is that alongside that have to come the own goals and the penalties given away and the mistakes.
Sandberg over this. Floats it in towards the back post. Header just wide. And Turland there, turning it past the post. That should have been United 2-0 up.
Yeah, has to hit the target. Has to score, really. Really good. Does really well to get ahead of O'Brien. Gets in front of her. Clear winner there. Yeah, should do better.
Yeah, should have scored.
Very high foot from O'Brien as well.
That's
not a very good pass
now. Miyazawa into Turland. Great space for the shot, and it's low and hard, and it's saved well by Clark. But I'm saying easy to get things right with the replay. Yeah, but if the referee needs a replay to get things right, then we've got a problem, haven't we? I don't know. I think the standard refereeing, it doesn't necessarily mean we need VAR, but that one is it's a difficult one to call, but I think that should have been given as a penalty.
I think we got it in real time as well.
Van Egmond, Lehmann in behind. Mouchon might get here. Letitia does well and just shields it, and Tallis Joyce off her line quickly.
I said, without Tallis Joyce there, Mouchon would have won that foot race.
Ziggiotti in behind. Is Rolfo onside? Squares it to Turland, and no, she isn't.
What I was going to say, I thought the assistant might have missed that one, but yeah, Rolfo was offside.
Great catch there from the line.
It's opening up. It really is opening up, this game. And I'm not really sure which side that benefits. It's going to create opportunities for both. And you'd think that you're not going to be more clinical, but...
This is where it's weird that they've just taken Schuler off. Because Leicester, there's so much space in behind them because they're pushing forwards now. Why would you take Leia Schuler off in that moment?
Yeah.
Especially when we expect Turland will start the Atleti game. Just a bit of an odd decision for me. And especially, if you brought on Vangerheim, maybe that's perhaps understandable. Ball in behind. Mouchon's in here for Leicester. Takes saved well. Parried into a dangerous area, but no one there for Leicester to pounce, and it's cleared away by Janssen. But Leicester in this game.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, we spoke about the threat that Mouchon carries. Brilliant run in behind. The angle's a bit tight, but I don't mind it. Caught it nicely.
Van Egmond, great delivery. Sandberg heads it away. Letitia heads it. And Miyazawa nodding it into Rolfo. Still not out their own third, though, United. Sandberg's clearance now does steer it clear, but it's out only as far as around the 30-yard mark. And out for a throw-in. And this was a fantastic ball from Chantal Suevi. Great movement off the shoulder from Mouchon. Just too wide, really, of the goal. But she got a good shot away. She forced a save out of Tallis Joyce. it's parried into an area and it just doesn't fall right for Leicester. It's one where if it falls to Lehmann, they're 1-1 in this game.
Yeah.
Maybe Mouchon should have done better to get it across the face of goal.
Yeah.
A bit too central with the strike, but foul there from Lehmann, just bringing down Ziggiotti. Referee will give her just a talking to at this stage. Just feel that we're past that stage in this game, but Lehmann gets a talking to nonetheless. And a problem here, and the referee waving on the medical staff quite urgently. But it's just Taylor's choice sat down. I mean, the way she waved them on, I thought it was something incredibly serious.
Taylor's choice sat on the floor.
It's a tactical timeout.
I say, but it shows the position that Leicester have put United in. That United need a break. They need a Skinner needs time to get some instructions into his players.
I mean, that was brilliant drama there from the referee. I thought the way that the players all ran off the pitch and the refs urgently calling on the physios. But no, it's Taylor's choice is down with a very serious, very real injury. There's the physio here just moves her leg back and forth. At least make it look like it's not obvious.
Yeah. But two very different team talks. Passmore, I don't know that action, just smash into them. But, yeah, just go at them. But yeah, Skinner, getting everyone involved here because he knows they're under a bit of pressure here. Yes, they're still leading, but they don't want to drop points. This weekend is a golden chance for United to gain some ground in that UWCL qualification race. And if they were to slip up away at Leicester, that would be a not only a big drop of points for United, but what a point it could be for Leicester if they are to nick something here.
Absolutely, it could keep them in the league.
Yeah.
When we look back at the end of the season, a result here could be so pivotal in the not only avoiding that relegation spot, but potentially staying ahead of some of those other teams as well. But yeah, we'll see what happens. But this could be a really important result if they can turn it around. United now with a free kick though and a goal would shatter those Leicester City dreams. At this stage, Ziggiotti over this one. What can she make happen? Ziggiotti lifts it into the box. Brought down now by Riviere. Miyazawa. Here's Ziggiotti. Wide now into VAR. Into Park. Don't know why, that was what I was thinking about. Ujo. Similar letters, but alas.
I thought United got a new winger.
Wide now to Riviere. Floated in there. It's headed away. Ujo now. Takes aim. Saved well. Brilliant save by Olivia Clark. Corner now for Manchester United. Drove power through that well, Awujo.
Yeah, it's a good strike. Did smack the ball down in the process, and that's what Leicester's complaints were. But yeah, she did her arm just controlled it there. Would have been another controversial talking point had she scored. Yeah, definitely hits the arm of Awujo. Big save from Clark.
Getting a hard spot, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, 7 Leicester players saw it though. I do, yeah, but equally, no United player saw it.
Exactly.
Even that.
So United now. Sandberg delivers in towards the front post, headed away again by Van Egmond.
That's a great header by Van Egmond.
That's the other end.
As I say, that has gone a few rows deep into the stands.
And Sandberg again. They don't need that at the other end. They need powerful headers, though.
Yeah.
Delivers it and this towards the back post this time. And Riviere nodding it wide. Not quite as effective as what United wrote muster up in at the end of the first half. Sting says, I think every keeper sitting down by themselves should result in a player being taken off the pitch for 2 minutes or something like that. I don't mind it. I think either you've got to, if the league have a problem with it, they'll outlaw it. I don't mind the fact they have a tactical break. I'd just rather it was a proper thing rather than have to do this silly routine where the goalkeeper sat on the floor for a minute and we all act like it's an injury.
I think they should lean into it and give managers, tactical timeouts they can use.
Exactly. You get one a game, 2-minute tactical timeout. So if you're having a disaster, after 20 minutes you can use it, but you're not going to use it again. And obviously, if the other team use it, you can use that opportunity. Yeah. I think that would work nicely.
I think someone had a theory on it before that if a goalkeeper goes down injured, all the players should go stand on the other side of the pitch to the managers.
Yeah.
I can't remember who had that idea.
I think it was Phil saying none of them allowed to find the subs bench. Go stand on the other side of the pitch. Get pelters from the crowd.
Yeah.
It'd be all right here because the crowd are all on one side.
Tactical advice from the bloke in row 1. Yeah. That's your tactical timeout.
You pick one random fan has to come down and give them a team talk. And the ball out of play there for a Leicester throw-in. Now, it looked like it came off O'Brien.
That was the one thing it wasn't. It was either a Leicester free kick or a United throw. Found nice in between. They've got the free kick. That's okay, fair enough.
It weren't there. Tierney over this.
It was on the halfway line.
15 yards forwards. What can they make happen? Leicester here on the edge of the box. Tierney hangs it in there well. It bounces through and Rolfo on hand to bring it down, and Park now knocks it past Dale, and she's knocked it out of her grasp and off the field of play.
Yeah, no, a difficult one for Park. I think really hasn't. It wasn't brilliant in the first half, but I think it's been it was really struggled in the second. I think United overall have found it quite difficult. It's just, will that one goal be enough? You just don't know.
Out now for United throw. Smart stuff from Jess Park. Base has no tactical timeouts. I think the only opposition to it is the fact that it could kill the flow, but that's been killed anyway. It's easy to say, we could do this or that, but I think you've got to have some way of the managers being able to communicate with the players. I quite enjoy the note being part, in a sub's pocket. That
I do like
that's in the socks, sorry, and then they have to run around the pitch telling everybody. Janssen. Back now into Tallis Joyce. And it drops for Sandberg. I think that's the most whimsical way of delivering those tactical timeouts. Is a little note.
And then the inexperienced player will get it and just throw it on the floor so the other team can read it. The experienced players tack it in their sock.
Here is O'Brien across the box. Lehman gets there but knocks it out of play. I think Riviere might have got there in front of her. And that is what Lehman claims after the fact.
Yeah, I think that was a corner.
It's difficult. I think when you show with your body language that it looks like you've hit it off the pitch.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. I want to see the replay. O'Brien in there. I think it did come off Riviere. The problem is there, Lehman has... Let's have a look. This is a better angle.
Yeah.
Yeah, it comes off Riviere. The problem is Lehman holds her hands up like she's made a mess of it.
Yeah.
But yeah. Yeah, now building out from the back. Tallis Joyce. Letitia. Awujo. Diggiotti playing it forwards. Cut out well. It drops for Rolfo. And now Riviere. Park in a central area. Runs inside. Great drive from Park. Shifts it wide to Sandberg. Rolfo. Does well there to escape from Shannon O'Brien. Sandberg. Rolfo. Lovely footwork and good defending from Mailing. It's knocking out of play.
Yeah. Leicester are digging in here. They know that there will be one, if they can keep this scoreline at 1-0, they will get at least one opportunity across the next 10 minutes to level this game up.
Letitia and Riviere. Inside into Ziggiotti, back towards Jade Riviere. Great movement here, but it's who's able to pounce on the pass. Awujo now. Park. Drifting inside. And Sandberg now. Mailing trying to stop her. Sandberg gets around her. Chips it in towards the back post. Awujo won't get there. Park lets it go to Riviere, who can cut it back now to Park. He's got to have a shot there. Goes back to Riviere. Cuts it back to Ziggiotti. Clipped in there. Headed away well. I don't get what United's obsession with crossing it is. Hit it.
Yeah.
Surely.
Just these little dinks from the corner of the edge of the area just towards the penalty spot.
Yeah.
It really doesn't make any sense. Leicester dealt with it well, though. Getting their first to everything at the moment. And Tierney then caught by the flailing arm of Miyazawa.
Yeah.
I have to say that beautiful football from the first 15 minutes for United has really evaporated. They've had to work hard for this one.
Clark launches it. Headed on by Mouchon. Miyazawa. Phil says technical timeouts will just lead to in-game break for TV. In-game ad break for TV, and they'll put one in the first half too, and it'll set a precedent that a lot of US sports have been able to control. Well, it's what you get. I mean, it's going to happen with the World Cup anyway, in the Men's World Cup, because they bring in mandatory breaks in the first and second half, which we have like something in place if water breaks are needed. But I don't know. Ball in towards the area, headed away. Mouchon wants to cut inside. Rujo fails to clear and now does steer it into Park. Rolfo, great drive here for United. What can they make happen? Rolfo tries to feed it wide, and that's a poor pass. And they can use this now. Leicester, Swaby. O'Brien does well there to get around Janssen. Cuts it back, and it's dealt with well by Miyazawa. Swaby still high. Ale to Neville. Tries to put it into the box, and it's claimed well.
Yeah, didn't quite catch that right. Neville had Awujo putting the pressure on and had to try and play it around. Letitia just telling a team just to calm down and just to take the pace out of the game a little bit. But again, they've tried to play out. Leicester overturn it. But they're working well, United. But you just feel that, as I say, there's going to be that opportunity for Leicester. Something's going to happen at some point.
Lehman tries to get around Riviere. Back to Neville. Back to Lehman. Lovely movement. Clipping it in the box. Too close to Tullis Joyce. It feels like one that Leicester will keep probing, but I just think it's going to get away from them. I think United will be able to hold on here.
They're having chances on the ball, but they're not threatening. Like United aren't scrambling around to block shots. Tullis Joyce isn't making brilliant saves.
There is a lack of danger, lack of threat really in their final third. But United haven't been as good as we thought they would be.
No, not at all.
This has been a poor showing. They've not even generated 1 XG.
Wow.
And not a vintage football game.
And a lot of that was in the first 15 minutes.
Yeah, especially first half. Outside of that opportunity, I can't remember who had it now. But they have had chances in the second half. Nothing really clear cut. Vangerheim coming onto the field. So that is Jess Park withdrawal.
Aerial presence really in both halves of the pitch. In the if United can get the ball forwards, she'll be up there in the Leicester penalty area, but mainly for defending at this point in the game.
Yeah. Phil says, ready for the USA World Cup madness. This red card is brought to you by Ridge Wallet. That's what we should start doing on stream. And this next segment, and just every different topic we have on a stream or a video is brought to you by a different sponsor. That would keep us in a job. Keys back to Swaby. And now Ale. Bangerheim puts the pressure on, picked off there by Fridolina Rolfo. Janssen. Now Letitia. Back to Riviere. Knocking it into Ellen Vangerheim, who wants to take on Neville. Does turn back now, though, and Neville knocks out of play. Does take a final touch off Vangerheim, though, and that will be a Leicester throw. And Ale will come and take it again. Drops it into Neville. Back to Asmita Ale, who will launch it up the line. Chested down by Letitia. Neville wins again. Lehman punted away well. Here's Neville under pressure. Ale. Ziggiotti pounces and runs it out of play and ends up jumping into Neville. Made a bit of a meal of it.
Bit of a weird one, that, wasn't it? Neville went to swing at a ball that wasn't there as Ziggiotti jumped to jump the block the ball that wasn't there.
Both charged without the football. And Ziggiotti, for her goal, has been given the Sky Man of the match. No one gets the player of the match.
No, it's one of those games that these two sides are going to be split by a cross that went in.
Yeah.
That sums up.
Maybe United would look a lot differently if they hadn't got that goal. But this has not been a thoroughly enjoyable start, I have to say, to the WSL game week.
Yeah, when they do this schedule where you have one game by itself on a Saturday and then the rest of the 5 on a Sunday, the one game on the Saturday has to be like a blockbuster.
Well, it's weird when you then choose to not make that Arsenal Man City.
Yeah, exactly.
And cram in the biggest game of the weekend, clashing with 3 other matches.
Because I want more action now. I want to watch another game.
Exactly. If you could flick and you were keeping an eye on all the different games, this is fine as a 12 o'clock on a Sunday. It's brought one height of the pitch here. Turland, can she keep this move alive? Gets a shot away at goal, and United seal the victory. And Leicester will own the referee's decision not to award a free kick, but United pounce and get a second goal in this game. The 3-point seal, 2 goals away from home. Far, though, from vintage United, but Turland gets on the score sheet and United double their lead.
Puts them into safety. Leicester threatening towards the end, but United will leave with the points. Pouncing on mistakes, playing out the back from Leicester. Turland made a bit of a meal of it initially, but managed to just fashion a shot and put it past Clark.
Tierney tries to turn in there. Is it a foul from Ziggiotti?
I'm not sure. I don't think there's enough in it.
I think it's one of those we've seen given way too often.
Yeah.
Where I think she uses her physicality well, but she does win the ball back. So often we see them given just because, the referee almost feels sorry, I think, for the defensive midfielder in that situation. But I don't think there's too much wrong. And Turland's booting the corner flag as well for good measure. Leicester City 0, Manchester United 2. And a change for Leicester, and they're going for the game as Mita Ale withdrawn. And Missy Goodwin back then for the Foxes. There will now be no defenders on the pitch for Leicester. Presumably into more of a flat 4. But, yeah, it's very aggressive to try and push for 2 goals in the last 2 minutes here. Could they come undone? Mailing going back towards their goalkeeper, Clark. And now Keys. Into Neville. Goodwin. Great hold up. Caught in possession though by Vangerheim. Goodwin wins it back. Here's Lehman. Knocks it down the line. Mouchon here. Gets around Letitia. Fantastic tackle from Letitia. Wrapping her foot around the player in the ball and knocking it out of play.
Yeah. Another solid job from the ever-present United centre-half, who will play until their dying day, you feel.
Janssen does well to intercept. Turland now. Great hold up. Janssen. Headed on by Rolfo. And now driving it forward is Sari Keys. Picked off by Ziggiotti again. Not with the same... not the same result, though, as the last time she dispossessed a Leicester midfielder. As it's back in possession of Leicester, Chantal Swavey. Just wants to lift it in behind. Janssen touches it down. And so Brian, who will get there. can't imagine it's going to be a lengthy additional period, but it's 6 minutes. Where on earth have they got 6 minutes from?
They want Leicester want
Joyce
goals.
was down for a minute. There was There was a goal in the second half. I struggle to see where they found 6 minutes.
Maybe we'll get some late drama.
Potentially so. Van Egmond on the ball. Lehman boots it up in the air and Tissier would have headed away well. Or Wujo now jostles for possession. Sandberg. Wide to Rolfo, back to Sandberg, who can look inside and will drive the ball centrally. Now Janssen. Great hold up from Turland, and that's out of play. And it's gone the way of Manchester United. It did look like it was just poked out of play there. So a good decision from the ref.
Yeah. Plenty of thoughts from Mark Skinner. I'm sure there'll be positives to take, but on the whole, a difficult afternoon for his side despite the victory. Not the fashion they would have wanted, but as we say, when you are in those European fights, when you are having to battle hard and every game is massive as we're closing on the end of the season, they got the job done. And that's the main thing at the moment. It'll be 3 points on the board and it'll be a gain on at least 2 of the top 5. Unless Leicester can spark a very late comeback.
Yeah, Janssen shields that from Lehman well. And out for a throw-in. On the far side, what can they make happen in the final third? If they can get a goal now, maybe it changes this game, but it's poked away by Miyazawa. And Turland carrying it forward, slips in Vangerheim. Can she drive this forward, Ellen Vangerheim? Neville retreating. Riviere in support. Leicester have got back in a flood of foxes. Tries to put it back to a teammate, but it's a misplaced pass kept alive by Letitia. Zigiotti. Awujo, ball across the box and saved brilliantly by Zigiotti, who jumps and I think wanted to head it and ends up handballing it.
Yeah, I don't think the ball was intended for her. Then she kind of ran into it and had nowhere to go.
Sting says, has Zigiotti been moved forward in possession or something? She's scoring and getting assists in game after game now, and that is not usual for her. Well, she's given a little more license to get forward. We see Miyazawa often deeper with Zigiotti moved higher in the press and encouraged to get forward and help out the attack. So yeah, naturally we're seeing more goals and more contributions because of it. Ball into a midfield area, picked off well by Zigiotti. Lehman now, tidy hold up, lays it into Neville. You can try and find a teammate with the pass. That's a poor pass though, and Awujo picks it off, and she'll carry the ball forwards. Into Rolfo now. And Rolfo ends up running it out of play. Mailing. Back to Swaby. Ball forwards, head away well. Rolfo. Janssen. Clipping it long. Great control from Turland and she spins Keys. Keys does enough though to force her back. Great hold up still from Elizabeth Turland, but Goodwin gets back in, helps the defensive work, and now it's with Mouchon. Back down the line looking for Goodwin. Miyazawa though tracking the run effectively. And Goodwin presses the ball and knocks it out of play.
Yeah, Leicester better. A better account of themselves, but as we say, they've had a knack for giving the big sides in the leagues a decent run for their money, but never looking like beating them. Yeah, they've done well to put up a resolve against some of the top sides, but I wouldn't say at any point in any of those games I think they were going to walk away or something. But yeah, they would maybe sense they could have got, there were points this game where they could have got something out of it, but on the whole, I don't think they were too disappointed with how it's gone. They've had some bright spells.
Yeah, I don't think they can. I don't think they can be too, as you say, annoyed. They haven't really found the rhythm in the final third. Still, Turland carrying it forwards. I think United have something to prove after this game. This hasn't been as strong as they would have liked it to, but that is 3 points on the board, and that was what was important for today. And while Leicester have probably had more of the ball and more opportunities in the second half than they would have liked to have given up, did they ever seriously look like scoring? Not really, and that may be more due to the opponent. But yeah, I think United weren't brilliant today, but 3 points is 3 points.
Yeah.
Miyazawa battling away in the final third. Vangerheim back to Miyazawa. Into Turland. Great hold up. Twists and turns. That's a fantastic save from Clark to deny Turland her second in this game.
Yeah. Again, really nice stop from the Leicester keeper. Gets down well to her right-hand side. Turland has placed that perfectly towards the bottom corner. But Clark gets down early. Good save. Tips it wide.
Yeah. Really good stop. I think probably should have done better for both the goals, Clark, but take nothing away from her performance outside of those. Has made some good stops. Ball in. That's where the shame comes, because she made mistakes on both of them, especially the first one, really. But yeah, outside of that, not a bad performance. But that's at the King Power Stadium. Leicester City 0, Manchester United 2. 3 points on the board, another 3 points on the board from Mark Skinner's United team. They move up into 31 now in second place. Only 8 points behind leaders Manchester City, who face Arsenal at the Emirates tomorrow. Join us for a double-header tomorrow as we start with that game between Manchester City and Arsenal. And then we've got Tottenham taking on Chelsea at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Should be a good day of women's football action before, of course, moving in to a Champions League double-header in the week. Yet more double-header action next weekend. More Champions League after that. And then the FA Cup all moving in to that early March international break. So lots coming up in the next week and a half, next 2 weeks. So look out for all of that. That, though, is everything from us today. Well, final thoughts on the game, Harry. United happy with the result, but not brilliant on the performance.
Yeah, exactly that. It's one of those for United where they weren't great, but they were good enough to get the job done this stage in the season. Getting results on the board is as important as playing well. 3 points they will gain on teams tomorrow, no matter what happens in those games. So a positive weekend for United. Leicester, they'll be looking at those games tomorrow and hoping that none of the teams below them can pick up any more points.
Yeah, they'll be hopeful for that, but it seems unlikely given a lot of them obviously facing off against each other. That, though, is everything from us today. If you haven't already checked out the video from yesterday, go and check that out now. We reviewed every WSL club's business in the January transfer window and ranked them all. So go and check that out now. It's already started incredibly well. So if you haven't seen that, go and check that out. And if you haven't seen the video from earlier this week, where I did a short look at why WSL clubs are signing Swedish players, particularly prevalent for Manchester United fans, then go and check that out as well. That, though, is everything. We'll be back with more tomorrow. Thank you guys very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.